Hello, sir. Am I audible?
This is from Japan.
Yes, sir. We can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. I'll
Thank you,
mute
sir.
myself. What?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. Hello and namaskar. Myself, Dr. Jayan Thakur, one of the secretaries of International Conference, welcome you all to the second international conference organized by Atmiya University in association with Miyazaki University, Japan, Lincoln University College, Malaysia, CAC Graduate University, USA, IUSDRP, and Hamchandracharya, North Gujarat University. So I welcome all online as well as offline participants. The International Conference on Emerging Trends and Contemporary Practices is intended to explore pathways to address current and emerging sustainability challenges by empowering learners with new skills, values, and attitudes that lead to a sustainable world. The commencement of any noble act is always done with the blessings of God. I request technical team to play the audio for prayer. Technical.
गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु ही पूर्ण प्रकाश गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु ही पूर्ण प्रकाश गुरु के चरणों में मिलता है तन मन को उल्लास गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु ही पूर्ण प्रकाश गुरु फूल है गुरु है भुवन गुरु ही अगर सुआस गुरु फूल है गुरु है भुवन गुरु ही अगर सुआस गुरु के सत्संग में मिलता है तन मन को उल्लास गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु ही पूर्ण प्रकाश
Thank you. Now I request our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shiv Tripathi sir, to offer garland to Thakurji. Thank you very much, sir. We all seek blessings from Thakurji and His Divine Holiness, Sri Hari Prasad Swamiji. The theme of our conference is contributing in agenda of United Nations, that is, transforming our world by 2030, agenda for sustainable development. At its heart, there are 17 sustainable development goals, which are an urgent call for action by all countries, developed and developing, in a global partnership. The objective of the conference is to focus on sharing innovative ideas and understanding of sustainability education within the overall objective of realization of sustainable development goals under the current scenario towards positive action for a better quality of life and environment, ultimately leading to sustainable development goals achievement and creating a sustainable future for all. conference will include educators, leaders, policymakers, teachers, and practitioners from various disciplines and professions. It will provide a platform to share experiences, stories, and best practices on numerous facets of sustainability education from a broader perspective, taking into consideration global issues and challenges as well as regional and national realities. The word sustainability broadly focuses on utilization of the resources in a way that it will be available for generations. It is only possible when one lives in harmony with nature, with all. Atmiyata means living in harmony with all. Here at Atmiya, we apply it in every aspect, including curriculum, co curricular, extracurricular activities, research, and innovation. Moving ahead, in India, every ritual has some base of science which will lead to the ultimate truth, spirituality. Lighting a lamp is a symbol of enlightening others' life through knowledge. An enlightened guru, mentor, lightens the life of disciples. It is an event of sharing knowledge. So, with the blessings of His Divine Holiness, Sri Hari Prasad Swamiji, and divine presence of our spiritual guru, President of Atmiya University, Param Pujya Tyag Vallabh Swamiji, I request Pro Chancellor of Atmiya University, Dr. Sheila Ramchandran Ma'am, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shiv Tripathi Sir, and Registrar, Dr. Divyang Vyas Sir, for lamp lighting ceremony. Leadership team and secretaries are also joined. Thank you very much, all the dignitaries. Hope this lamp of knowledge will enlighten the life of many learners. The words can change the world as it has touch of emotions. To welcome you all by words, I request Dr. Shiv Tripathi Sir, the Vice Chancellor of Atmiya University. Dr. Shiv Tripathi Sir has rich experience of 25 years enveloping teaching, research, and higher education management. The experience covers every region of our country, including North, East, South, and at present, West. And it also includes more than 10 countries across the globe. Dr. Tripathi wrote 6 books, including management education. In the research domain, 80 plus articles in reputed journals have been published, and 12 students are awarded doctorate degree under his supervision. Dr. Shiv has been recognized as a pioneering professor for promoting sustainable development focused education initiative, jointly by Flourish Prize Initiative, Case Western Reserve University, USA, and UN Principles for Responsible Management Education, PRM. He is also alumnus of International Faculty Program, IESC, Barcelona, and Premium B Schools of India, including IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Lucknow, IIM Kozhikode. Now I request Dr. Shiv Tripathi Sir to welcome by words. Thank you very much for kind introduction. Atmiya Namaste and very good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all who have joined from the different parts of the world. Honorable President of this session, our Pro-Chancellor, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, all the guests, the speakers who have joined online, offline, on behalf of our President, mentor, and spiritual guide, Param Pooj Tyag Vallabh Swamiji, I take this opportunity to welcome you all to the inaugural session of International Conference on Emerging Trends and Contemporary Practices, which is happening in hybrid mode online. I welcome our Pro-Chancellor, President of this inaugural session, Professor Dr. Sheila Ramchandran, a visionary academician, affectionate mentor, instrumental force behind all leading initiatives at this university, and particularly when it comes to sustainability. There is no such a single initiative which is not mentored by Madam. Welcome to this platform, including this conference. I welcome the partnering institution, patron, honorable president, a great scholar, honorable Professor Dr. Hiroshi Samashiji from Miyazaki University, Japan. I am happy to share that this partnership this conference is happening in the partnership with Miyazaki University, Japan, and it has been a very, very active partnership to shape this conference. Thank you, sir, for all your support. I welcome a special guest to the inaugural session, Ms. Anna Legwal. She is Honorable Consular General of Sweden to Embassy of Sweden in Mumbai, has joined online. I welcome all the distinguished guests, invited speakers, keynote speakers who have joined online, offline, distinguished vice chancellors from the different universities in India and abroad. I welcome the representatives and officials of all our partnering institutions, including Keck Graduate Institute, USA, Inter-University Sustainable Development Research Program at University of Hamburg and Manchester Metropolitan University, Hemchandracharya North Gujarat University, and Lincoln University College, Malaysia. I especially welcome the keynote speaker of the inaugural session, a great scholar, Professor Dr. Walter Lee, who is currently with in dual hat, one at Manchester Metropolitan University, another at Hamburg University, and also the founder chair of IUST RP. Welcome all the members of statutory bodies, our guests from Board of Management, Governing Council, academic bodies of university, members of the organizing committee, all the dignitaries on the dais, organizing secretaries, fellow colleagues, delegates, participants, paper presenters, keynote speakers. Welcome you all. This conference on
what we label as ICETCP hashtag 2022 is a very unique concept. And it's if as you look into the name, emerging trends, contemporary practices, we are trying to link what is happening outside, which is controllable, uncontrollable, or partly controllable. And as a result of that, what type of practices we are following or we intend to follow. And the concept behind this is when we link the knowledge and practice, it's the best possible form of research production, as scholars believe in. And when we say so, when we link so, the knowledge to the practice, it aims towards the continuous improvement. I'm happy to share that this conference is being jointly organized by Miyazaki University, Japan, a great land which has gifted the world the philosophy of Kaizen or continuous improvement. And as the name indicates, we want to realize the continuous improvement in the selected theme area. And for this year, our learned members of the organizing committee have identified the area of realization of sustainable development goals under the current scenario. Post-COVID, post-pandemic, if you see, the paradigm of development has changed globally. Priorities changed, resource allocation patterns have changed, and more importantly, the assumptions towards the development changed. On the one side, you see more and more adaptation of technology across all the sectors, but at the same time, you see the need for more humanistic solutions which considers the human need at focus. Last 2 centuries of economic development or industrial development, which considered the development as a result and human as a means, is now being changed, and where we are considering the development as a means and human is at the end. My friends, during this conference, we are going to explore the different dimensions of practice, as I mentioned earlier, packed in 13 technical sessions with more than 110 scholarly papers across 4 tracks linking sustainability, wellness, business, and indigenous knowledge systems with emphasis on Indian knowledge systems. We would be exploring what best we can do, how we should move forward. I'm sure next 2 days of deliberations are going to be very, very important and effective, both in the knowledge development as well as contributing to the practice. With these words, I will not be taking much time. Once again, welcome to this conference. Wish you a very, very happy 2 productive days of discussions, deliberations, networking, relationship building, all for good, all for sustainability. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the warm welcome. Atmiya University comes under the umbrella of Sarvodaya Kadavani Samaj, which is being nourished tenderly by our president, Param Pujya Tyagavallabh Swamiji, since more than 3 decades, maintaining Guru Shishya Parampara with the blessings, inspiration, guidance, and support of our spiritual Guru, His Divine Holiness, Shri Hari Prasad Swamiji Maharaj, Pujya Tyag Vallabh Swamiji has transformed the organization from a barren land to a lush green campus. Today, we can feel the transformation of lives taking place under his spiritual guidance. Param Pujya Tyag Vallabh Swamiji could not remain present here due to some prior commitments, but he has sent his blessings. So, on behalf of the President, I request Pro Chancellor of Atmiya University, Dr. Sheila Ramchandra Ma'am, for presidential address. Dr. Sheila Ramchandra Ma'am has more than 40 years of extensive experience, including administrative, in the field of higher education. As a researcher, she has guided more than 70 students. As an organizer, she has organized 160 plus events, including 25 international level events. She has brought in innovation in CBCS, e learning and video conferencing, learning experiences, evaluation reforms, innovation and entrepreneurship, and in the TQM of educational institutions. She has numerous research publications, visited 9 countries for research and training, and recipients of 10 national awards. Presently, as the Pro Chancellor of Atmiya University, she is innovating in a new paradigm of interwoven learning experience across disciplines to meet the challenges of futuristic global sustained requirement in tune with the SDGs of United Nations. Now I request Dr. Sheila Ma'am for presidential address.
Namaskaram, Namaste, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and nearly good night to some of you. With the blessings of the omnipresent Hari Prasad Swamiji and the guiding light of our Guru, the president of our university, Param Pujya Tyag Vallabh Swamiji, we are fortunate that today we are having yet another very, very innovative international conference. Not for the sake of conducting a conference, but more for networking across the globe. Friends, I stand before you today, bringing to you the message and aspirations of the president of Atmiya University and representing him in presiding over this inaugural function. This entire idea of this conference emerged when the faculty members of Atmiya University started deliberating on the National Education Policy 2020 of the Indian government. It also took a key from the faculty immersions as well as research scholar immersions that some of our faculty and students and research scholars had at Miyazaki University, Japan, prior to COVID. It also took some ideas from the networking and conferences that we had organized with our other partnering institutions like Lincoln University, Malaysia, KGI USA through the boot camp, as well as other discussions that we had online, as well as with the international conference that was organized jointly with North Gujarat University, Gujarat, in the month of January. Putting all this together and understanding and disseminating the basic principles of sustainable development goals of the United Nations to all our faculty members as well as our young learners on campus, we realized that 2030 was not too far away. We continue to talk about reaching the agenda of 2030. But that is just 8 years away. And 8 years is a very, very short time to realize the 169 goals of the United Nations, as well as in tune with the targets and goals that each country is laying. That may have been something which has been set forth by the United Nations and the 113 countries in thinking that we need to reach these targets. But the very first word of SDG is sustainability. What about the sustainability of these goals and these targets beyond 2030? People started thinking of such things. This would be possible only if it does not remain in the realm of only the higher ups, the policymakers, or the educational administrators, or the senior leaders. Because sustainability beyond 2030 will be for another 15 to 20 years beyond that, up to 2050. And it needs to come into practice. And who's going to be vibrant, robust, and leaders from 2030 to 2050? Not any one of us seated here. Not any one of us who are conducting this program. It's going to be our young learners, our young student friends, our young research scholars who are going to get armed with this knowledge while they are here with us across our partnering institutions. And maybe as a consortium of all of us who are today at this international conference, if as an outcome of this, if we can form a consortium to realize, disseminate, and to propagate for the future through our learners the sustainability of these goals, I'm sure the true realization of these targets would happen. All have been racing against time, racing against thoughts, racing against actions for all the 17 goals. And all of us are aware of that. But though SDG 4 talks about quality education, it's not just about that inclusivity and other aspects. It's more about how higher education can be a transforming agent in changing the mindset. First is a change in mindset through higher education. In changing the mindset of the learners as well as the facilitators. And through them, changing the mindsets of all the others out there in the society. Therefore, the higher education institutions becomes the fulcrum of this entire initiative of sustaining SDGs beyond 2030. So the entire onus rests on us, more than all the others, more than all the political leaders who are there maybe changing once in 5 years, more than all the policymakers, because the entire base of our pyramid of action makers are our learners
Yeah,
who are
sure.
going to be the future leaders.
ત્યાંથી લેબમાં નહીં ઓલો બીજો ક્લાસ હતો એમાં બેઠા હતા
Therefore,
અહીંયાથી બોલાવી લીધા
We would
બોલાવી
request
લીધા મેં
that we realize that these 17 SDGs touch the heart. Therefore, if it has to get realized through touching the heart, should there be a change in the type of education system that we adopt? Because through education system, we expect behavioral changes, both in the facilitator as well as the learner. And we generally think of behavioral changes as cognitive behavior change, psychomotor behavior change, and then we give a little bit of importance to affective behavior change. But if we want to realize SDGs, we need to see to it that since it touches the heart, it touches the 5 P's: people, planet, peace, partnership, and prosperity. Partnership and prosperity is part of people. Peace is, as our compare said, coexistence and existence with nature and people. So if it has to touch the heart, whether the education system needs to start from all curricular, co-curricular initiatives, bringing about an affective behavior change first. Through that, trying to realize these changes through a psychomotor behavior change, through skilling, whereby you're creating a new knowledge, whereby there is a change in the cognitive aspects. So should there be a reverse in our education system to see to the sustainability of the SDGs? I think this is something that I would like to leave behind with all the very, very eminent educational administrators, researchers, and everyone else. And as our Vice Chancellor said, we have 4 tracks which are very, very cross-functional, very transdisciplinary. Each one of them can accommodate any domain of education within it. Because education may be in silos in terms of syllabus, but when you put it into practice in real life, they cannot remain in silos. It has to encompass all the aspects of the domains. Therefore, as universities, let us dwell on knowledge creation through research and innovation with a total mindset change, where we are able to see research in a transdisciplinary manner and then disseminate that to various other aspects. So this is just the beginning of this conference. You will realize through the proceedings and the technical sessions how different domains are presenting their research work or their thoughts through the various technical sessions in each of the tracks. And this is just a showcase of how transdisciplinary we can be. I really would like to congratulate on behalf of the president of Atmiya University and all the 4 partnering global universities, to all the patrons, the organizing secretaries, the leadership teams, and everyone else who have really worked very hard to see to this turnover on this inaugural function of 478 participants from 10 countries and representing 71 institutions. And from India, representing 16 states, though we are in the westernmost part of India, and having 5 partnering universities as a consortium. As already indicated, Miyazaki University from Japan, KGI from USA, Lincoln University from Malaysia, Hemchandra North Gujarat University from Gujarat, India, and of course the host university, Atmiya University from India again. I think this was really possible, and I'm sure in the next 2 days, this 478 is going to increase because the word has already gone round that this is wonderful. Those of you who are presenting the papers and sharing your thoughts, we request you that this is just a platform for you to interact with the other paper presenters, to interact with the wonderful keynote speakers, to interact with the wonderful educational leaders who are there with us these 2 days. And we have not restricted these keynote speakers and special guests to only higher education institutions. You have them from the NGOs, you have them from the policymakers and the government, like the Council General of Sweden, Embassy of Sweden, Mumbai, and you have various others, including from our partner, Kathmandu University, Nepal. So friends, the 5 partnering universities have brought to you on one plate so many who mean business, who mean that we have to realize the sustainable development goals in a sustainable manner. It's up to you to eat the wonderful menu displayed on the platter and in the order in which you choose to have it. At Atmiya University, we believe in touching the heart. And we also believe in touching the heart through the stomach. And we would like to add here on this platter, we also believe in giving food for thought. And this conference is the food for thought for all of you. With these few words, on behalf of the president of our university, I wish all of you the very best with a great outcome, not only on these 2 days, but beyond that, up to 2050. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for always inspiring words, especially for young research scholars. How higher education can change the mindset of a learner, facilitator, and finally, the society. Thank you very much. The international conference is in collaboration with some reputed international organizations. One of the organization is Miyazaki University, Japan. I invite Professor Dr. Hiroshi Sameshima, the president of Miyazaki University, for special address. Dr. Hiroshi is also the director of University Hospital of Miyazaki and professor of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Faculty of Medicine. His research experience includes various programs, contributions, and participation in different countries for diverse fields of gynecology, health, and safety. Now I request Dr. Hiroshi Sameshima for special address. Dr. Hiroshi.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. You're audible.
Respected Chancellor of Atmiya University, Sri Tiaga Warabaswamiji, Pro-Chancellor Professor Sira Ramachandran, Vice Chancellor Professor Siv Trivedi, Register, Deans, members of the organizing committee, participant of this conference, ICETCP 2022, and my dear student, A warm welcome to you all. Kemucho. I am, thank you, Professor Dr. Hiroshi Samishima, President of the University of Miyazaki, one of your partner universities. I am happy to know that proposed ICE TCP 2022 is a multidisciplinary event with a wide range of invited talks, keynote addresses, and research presentations with sustainable developmental goals of the ultimate aims. Urban and rural development interacts through the flows of people's knowledge, local materials, energy, finished goods, capital income, and indigenous information. Achieving development in one area without building around urban-rural linkages could compromise it in another area. Achieving sustainable development need customized policy prioritization and implementation in both urban and rural areas with the aid of science and technology. Meeting the globally growing demands for food, especially in urban areas, and the conservation of ecosystems and their services are contingent on a thriving sustainable agriculture in rural areas. All over the world, urban-rural dichotomy is a major challenge for governmental politics. This severely hampers local human population through the migration of rural people to metros. This skewed development trajectory results in substantial differences between urban and rural settings, and, for instance, the distribution and quality of education facilities and human resources to empower the local needs. My university, University of Miyazaki, came up with sustainable solution to this issue by establishing a very new concept of transdisciplinary study area, namely Faculty of Regional Innovation with the main focus on skill development, preserving the local economy enhancement, social empowerment by health, education, nutrition, and food security. I'm sure this very unique international event, this conference, can lead us toward the achieving the 17 goals of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, Agenda 2030, and help address environmental, developmental, and sustainability issues. Finally, I wish you all the best, and I once again thank the organizers and management of Atmiya University for giving me this opportunity to share our views. Thank you very much.
Disciplinary approach. You could bring certain advisable changes, and I'm happy to share at Atmiya University we have transdisciplinary approach, and with the help of mix and match of various disciplines, we try to mold our students of various discipline who belong to particular area can get the benefit of the other discipline so that more connectivity can be developed. Thank you very much, sir. As we know that our theme of our conference is the realization of sustainable development goals under a current scenario. So for keynote address, we have invited a special guest who has dedicated 35 years of his life in the field of environmental and sustainable development. He is none other than Professor Walter Leal, Chair of Climate Change Management, Hamburg University, Germany. He is the head of Research and Transfer Center, Sustainability and Climate Change Management at the university. He published several international journals and book series and act as a review editor for International Panel of Climate Change. Now I request technical team to play the video of Dr. Walter Lee. Actually, sir, it was really difficult for him to spare time, but he spent time in form of sending his own video, the message.
Dear colleagues,
Appropriate.
thank you very much for inviting me to be in this meeting. My name is Walter Leo, and I'm a professor here at the University of Applied Sciences in Hamburg and at Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK. I'm very pleased to send you my greetings from Germany and to congratulate the organizers for this very nice meeting. I wish you have very good discussions, good deliberations, and also that you can foster even more networking. In the next 13 minutes, I would like to give an overview about the topics of university, sustainability, and climate change. And to do so, I will share with you my screen. So, dear colleagues, the subject matter I will tackle right now in this short introduction is really the subject matter of universities in a world characterized by a changing climate in the pursuit of sustainable development. And I will make some comments about sustainability in universities, some fields of action, talk about university and climate change, also outlining some fields of actions and make some conclusions and an invitation. Dear colleagues, universities can be compared to large businesses. They are large organizations with many employees, they have much resources, water, energy, waste. Therefore, it is very important that universities strive to become sustainable, to reduce their carbon footprint. In this context, there are some areas where action is really necessary. I call them the 5 main areas. And these 5 main areas are management and administration, the area of research, operations, education, and community engagement. And because of their relevance, I will try to describe them to you in turn. Management administration refers to policies, to governance, to make sure that universities have processes in place which allow it to pursue sustainability. Research is a very fertile area. There is much potential for research on sustainability at universities. Therefore, a great deal of work can be done here. And I mentioned in this slide that sustainability is a blessing for research because it offers a wide range of opportunities. The operations mean that the way university works, the way it buys products, the way it produces waste, is also an area where action is necessary because, as I mentioned earlier, universities can be compared to large businesses, and if they can optimize the operations, they can become more sustainable. Moreover, we can also do much in respect of education, which is the main reason why universities exist, to educate students. In this context, there are many methods which can be deployed to introduce sustainability in the curriculum. It can be by means of a full course, it can be by a module, it can be by a unit, or even a single lecture. So the way of delivery is quite flexible, and we can also use some approach such as project-based learning, or problem-based learning to develop skills among students. In addition, we have right now a competition among the universities to become more sustainable. And there is this green metric, which is used in university ranking, where universities are, let's say, are listed and they are evaluated according to the emphasis they put on sustainability. And this green metric is something which you certainly should consider looking at. It's many interesting information. If I could ask you, what is the university which takes number one in the ranking? In other words, which university is the world's most sustainable university? The answer will be the University of Wageningen in Holland. In the UK, there is the People and Planet University League, which also ranks universities according to sustainability. I'm very proud to tell you that my university, Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK, has taken the first place in the People and Planet League in 2021. So these are the ranking of People and Planet, which means that universities are really striving to become sustainable. And their attempts are not unnoticed, and these are reflected in this ranking, which means good news because they're all trying to become more sustainable. And there are 5 lessons to be learned. One is about having the right leadership at the university to foster sustainability efforts. We need a government framework. We need, of course, funding to support university efforts. And we need networking and also diversity within the institution. Now, what about climate change then? What are universities doing in respect of climate change? Dear colleagues, much can be done and much should be done. In this graphic, you can see that the amount of emissions is increasing. In the scenario which the IPCC put forward show that the progressions, the forecasts are really worrying. We expect that global warming to become even more intensive in years to come. This means that university have much to do in forcing climate change, in linking it with their activities to make them, and to be not carbon neutral, to at least reduce the carbon footprints. These are some of the books I've been publishing over the years, drawing attention to the need to take climate action at the universities. And this can be done in a variety of regions, in regions and formats in terms of reducing their contribution to CO2 emissions. So one of the names about making building more sustainable, meaning that making buildings more energy efficient. A second way is by using more renewable energy, not only solar panels, but also wind energy to fuel the operation of the university, relying less on fossil fuels. Another area is about using water more wisely. Much water is sadly wasted at university buildings. It'd be wonderful to find ways to maximize water use. Another area of action is about food consumption. Sadly, much food is being wasted at university canteens, university cafeterias. Therefore, it makes sense to promote efforts to reduce food waste at universities. In the green transportation, to provide a more, let's say, environmentally friendly means of transport to university students in campus. In Europe, we are increasingly using electric cars for mobility, and also design the curriculum to make the curriculum make provisions for teaching about climate change, and hence raising the awareness of the students. And of course, talk about the students, they are the key. The students are, without no doubt, the most important asset at any university. Therefore, we must engage them in sustainability efforts. This can be done in a variety of ways. They can establish working groups. They can have a space to present ideas. And no matter which format we use, the key is to engage students and encourage them to take action in respect of climate change. Dear colleagues, some conclusions. As I try to show you in this brief presentation, university engagement is necessary in sustainability. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. There are many interesting efforts happening today. In the ranks I showed you and examples of these efforts. There is no recipe. Each organization tries to find a solution based on its own situation and context. And we do need to, increase the activity or the emphasis to work with students. And apart from saving money, being climately friendly and pursue sustainability help with universities in the pursuit towards a more sustainable world. Dear colleagues, this is all the time I had today. I thank you very much for listening to me. Wish the meeting a great success. Thank you all. And once again, I wish you a great meeting. Thank you so much and goodbye from Germany.
Thank you very much, sir. Though he couldn't remain present, but he sent his video. It was.
Dear colleagues, thank you very
very
much
valuable.
for inviting me to be in this meeting. My name is Walter Leo, and I'm a professor here at the University of Applied Sciences in Hamburg and at Manchester.
So it has thrown a light on all the practical aspect that how being a university we can contribute. Now I invite Ms. Anna Lekvall, the Consul General of Sweden in Mumbai. She has over 20 years of experience in international development and democracy. She held positions in Swedish mission to the United Nations, the Embassy of Uganda, Swedish Export Credit Agency, and the Swedish International Development Agency. Ms. Anna has served as the Executive Director for the Institute of Democracy at Friesset. She is specialized in economics and development, democracy, diversity, and human rights. She was also awarded the Jonas Weiss Memorial Award for her work within the Juba peace process. Now I request Ms. Anna Lekvall to offer a special address. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Now you can hear me, right? Correct? Can you hear me? Am I audible? No?
You're audible, madam.
Thank you. Thank you. So wonderful to me. Thank you so much for inviting me to this very impressive conference. It is such a pleasure to meet and talk to you all. It's on these very vital issues, very, very vital time in history for all of us, India, Sweden, Europe, the globe, and on a very important topics. I believe that I wanted to start by just saying I really appreciate the whole emphasis that you put this conference on emerging trends to see where we are, how we contribute, a lot of focus on the sustainability issues. And of course, what I want to contribute from our end, from Sweden and our work in engagement with India, and maybe just a few words on our universities in Sweden, although not an expert like you on exactly what's being done at universities, just a few words. And let me start at the outset that just to say that Sweden is a country that has is very engaged in a very authentic, deeply engaged way in all the sustainable development goals and in the global cooperation to meet them. And just to mention that at the outset, and with India, we have a very strong cooperation. I'll get back to that. But it's overall, we see that we need to work together in the world, all the countries in many levels, governments, but also between universities or between civil society and businesses to together work to achieve the goals that we've all set out in the Sustainable Development Agenda. Sweden is a very strong supporter in the United Nations. We believe that we need to work multilaterally to solve the joint issues we have and to support a prosperous future in a multilateral environment so that we all work together. as well as on these bilateral, for example, in the Sweden-India cooperation. So we are very, very engaged in all of these matters. With India particularly, I'm so thrilled, and it's such a pleasure to be able to work in a close cooperation with India. We've had a joint partnership that is very formalized since 2018 between our prime ministers, Narendra Modi, at that time Stefan Löfven, and now we recently confirmed this in a meeting with our new prime minister Magdalena Andersson and Narendra Modi. In just a month ago in Copenhagen, they had a meeting to again confirm our very deep partnership, and we've met over the years in many constellations and have had frequent exchanges, and confirming the fact that we move together on particularly supporting sustainability and innovation together. It's very much a basis for our partnership at the broad level, and we do this at many levels. Sweden has an Office of Science and Information, which is placed in Delhi. I'm the Consul General based in Mumbai, where we have a separate mission, but at the embassy in Delhi, we have a special Office of Science and Innovation that supports and engages with universities across India, and where there is a platform for innovation cooperation in many ways. So that's something to take note of, I think, and something that we can be further developing. Overall, of course, we have the purpose of steering towards a better future, to co-create together, to find solutions. We believe very much that the sustainability agenda is a transformative, positive agenda. We can solve a lot through technical innovation. We believe it's a good for business. It's something where we think we develop our economies and our countries further. It's not a hampering, it's a positive growth objective in all the work to save our Earth in terms of both climate change and general environmental concerns. I can just say I came from Stockholm. We had our yearly get together with all the heads of missions in across the world, and of course, except we have obviously a major security situation in Europe that you may be following, and that's it's also a global security concern, but that's not the agenda right now. But of course, the climate crisis. We listened to Rockström, for example, who's a very famous scientist on this, and there is no doubt about the urgency of dealing with the green transition that we all need to pull together to make happen, and it's urgent. It really is urgent, and I know India is both a force of innovation and an incredible speed, and when things are focused on, and also finding solution. And I see a lot of great progress. I also know there's a lot of vulnerabilities in this. So I think this is very much an area where we work together and where we already have up and running, and we can do, of course, even more. So with the universities, and well, I'll also want to just mention one of the key issues that Sweden is known for and work with is, of course, equality issues. It's one of the most equal countries in the world. And this is something also I'll get back to on universities. It also is, we talked about how we work. It's also about gender equality, of course, where Sweden has a very progressive policy. We have a feminist foreign policy, which means that we actually work and promote with gender equality in all our engagements across the world, and of course in our own country domestically. Diversity, inclusion in that is very key. And I just want to mention it because it's definitely one of our also key engagement areas here in India. Studying in Sweden and the Swedish universities, let me just say a few words. We are ranked, Sweden is ranked as one of the world leaders in higher education overall. We have about 50 universities and colleges in Sweden. I recognize the former speakers talking very much about and I appreciated very much You spoke earlier about using higher education to change the mindsets. And I think this is very much where both Swedish universities are thinking. They're fostering a critical thinking, you're fostering a sort of freedom with responsibility, and an environment where we open up for solutions and drive innovation very much, same as I see here in India, very much innovation, new thinking, and making sure that our universities and colleges are the arena to solve some of the problems and challenges for today, for the next generation. And for that, you need the environment where it's open. We believe also that the equality thinking that we have as a very strong Sweden, which is non-hierarchical. We don't have such hierarchies. It's sort of ideas and people's views can come far. It doesn't always need to go through a hierarchy. But just generally fostering innovation at universities is absolutely primary. And also fostering mindsets with students and engagements where we are. I think it was mentioned here, and I appreciate very much to see that role in terms of changing our mindset, supporting our sustainable development goals in all its ways, and particularly these areas where we urgently need to find new solutions. I very much share that mindset. I know our Swedish universities are there, and we have some of those who are mostly driving, and I'm very glad to see several of them are connected here with Indian institutions as well. So let me wrap up there. As I said, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a really interesting, I've been following the conversations this morning, and I really appreciate what you've been doing here today to gather and gather so many different thinkers and thought processes to see how we can together build a strong future and prosperous nations and developments for us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Am I audible? Can
Yes.
you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I hear you.
So it was truly inspiring and motivating for all of us, ma'am. We are really happy to hear that Sweden is a country who is contributing a lot in sustainable development, especially at university level. And as you know that our university has collaborated with many prominent universities across the world. So it will be our pleasure to shake hand, to be collaborative with some of the University of Sweden, and it will be completely our pleasure. And definitely in future, our university will have some good tie-ups with your university. Thank you very much.
Wonderful to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I request Professor Emeritus Dr. Ajiri Acharya sir for a word of thanks.
Namaskar. Namaste to all. Good afternoon to Honorable Pro-Chancellor Madam, Vice Chancellor, Deans, Principals, the esteemed guest, colleagues and participants. It is said that sustainability is not just about adopting the latest energy efficient technologies or turning to renewable sources of power, but sustainability is the responsibility of each and every individual to change the behavior and mindset, what Madam has told in his session. Now today, I stand here carrying out one such responsibility. I, on behalf of the Atmiya University, take this opportunity to show our appreciation to all those who with their immense efforts have made this conference possible. At the every outset of the conference, I thank and bow down to His Divine Holiness, Param Pujya Hari Prasad Swamiji, whose blessings have been a guiding force for this event. This would not have done possible without his blessings. I am deeply gratitude to our president, our guide, our mentor, Param Pujya Tyagvallabh Swamiji, who has remained in constant support. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Samir Vaidishar, the Secretary of Sarvodaya Keroni Samaj, for providing all the necessary help for this conference. I am indebted to the Honorable Pro-Chancellor of the Atmiya University, Dr. Sheila Ramchandran, who with her competent guidance has been continual mentor. The university cannot thank enough to the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shiv Kumar Tripathi ji, who had been on his toes, ensuring that everything fell into the right place. We are extremely appreciative of our partnering universities, the University of Miyazaki, Japan, Lincoln University College, Malaysia, Keck Graduate Institute, USA, and Hemchandracharya Notes, Gujarat University, Gujarat, for believing in us. We have the gracious presence of the President of the University of Miyazaki, Japan, Professor Dr. Hiroshi Samashime. Believe that it is of utmost importance that we address the issues that link human health and sustainable and progressive development of human development. This conference definitely will be a platform that will bring out ideas and innovation in this direction. We humbly welcome and thank you, sir. We have been fortunate to have distinguished guest, Professor Walter Lee, the chair of the Climate Change Management, Hamburger University, Germany, and Ms. Anna Lekvall, Councillor General of Sweden. I am grateful to you, sir and madam, for gracing the event and being an immensely valuable part of the event. I am sure that our university will continue to get significant provision in the future. The leadership team of the university has been wide awake since the inception of this conference and has been making the best efforts to make this an insightful and mind-changing event. I thank all the members of the leadership team with utmost sincerity. We acknowledge our reviewers for their very meticulous evaluation of the papers. And lastly, I would like to thank all the committee members for putting in endless hours of bringing this conference from an idea to reality. Thank you all. Thank you.
We are moving towards the end of inauguration. Now, the technical sessions will be started sharp at 3:30, which are divided into 4 parallel tracks. Track 1, that is sustainable wellness. Track 2, that is sustainable business. Track 3, sustainable technology. And track 4, that is indigenous knowledge system. So this 4 tracks, they are also subdivided into 2 slots. The first slot will start at 3:30 and will end at 5. Then there'll be a small break of 15 minutes. And the second slot in the same continuity, it's 5:15 to 6:45. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now we are going to close the ceremony. All the researchers, online, offline, are requested to log in before time in their particular respective track. Links will be provided. Thank you very much. Now, those who are present here in offline mode, they are requested to also have some refreshment available outside. And now I request everyone to stand at their place for national anthem. The Indian national anthem. Thank you, all of you. Refreshment. Yeah. Refreshment is there outside. For those who are present over here in offline mode, kindly take it, enjoy it. Thank you.